First, I'd like to express my continuing appreciation to all of you who worked so hard for us in '06, because this truly was a bottom-up campaign, as is evidenced by so many of the T-shirts and the signs that I actually see tonight. And I'd like to thank my good friend Jim Moran for all the service that he has given to the people of this district over so many years. As Kate Hanley left, I wanted to say something when we talk about service and courage and those sorts of issues. Kate Hanley was here with her son. I don't know how many of you were able to meet Captain Moran at this point. He served our country in Iraq. He was seriously wounded, lost one arm, just the little shoulder, and has had a long struggle back. And when people talk about courage, I've often said that truly the most dramatic courage is what I call daily courage. And I think those of you who have come with us today exhibit daily courage. Daily courage is not something you see in an hour on a battlefield or in a debate. It's when you have to get up every morning when you're carrying a disability and decide you're going to move forward in a positive way with your life no matter what's happened to you. And I have good friends who served under my command in Vietnam who are amputees. One of whom is a triple amputee. Every morning it takes him 15 minutes just to put his limbs on before he starts his life. He hadn't let him slow him down. And that's the kind of courage that we had among us tonight. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to bring Captain Hanley up here for all of you to show how much we admire and respect his journey. This is an event for the State Democratic Party, and we've had our ups and our way ups, and we had a little car wreck last year, but and I'm really glad to see Steve Cochran having come to the event tonight. Jim Moran introduced him, but I'll tell you a little story. When we were doing the campaign in '06, I was out with Rick Boucher on the final 3-day swing, and Congressman Boucher was giving a speech introducing me, and he said, you know, everywhere I go in Southwest Virginia, someone comes up to me and says, I'm Jim Webb's cousin. Steve Cochran is my cousin. He was standing with us on the platform. I said, well, I am Jim. So it's been great to have you here tonight. You didn't have to drive all that way, but glad you're with us. This is a very, very serious time for our country. All of us know that. And I can recall when Congressman Moran was speaking, I was looking out here in this area and remembering the event that we had in '06 when I was running. It was an off-year election. Of course, it was a statewide election. The Senate was at risk, and so many people here were among the ragtag army, whatever you want to call them, you know, where we ended up toward those final weeks with, I think, 14,000 volunteers, people who, you know, we got outspent. And even at the end, we were outspent 2-1. We started off, as all of you know, and people did come to me. Lowell's here, take a picture of him. He's mad at me because I didn't go along with cap and trade, but Lowell, we can work on it. People did come to me and ask if they could get 1,000 signatures, what I think about stepping forward and running. And from that beginning, 33 points behind on a good day, because of the dedication and people believing in what we were talking about and what we wanted to do, we ended up succeeding. We have a situation in the country right now where people are a little knocked back. They're still worried about where the country's going. We were dealt a very bad hand, as Congressman Moran mentioned, when the Bush administration left town. They had run the economy into the ground. They had more than doubled the national debt. They'd given us, in my view, a strategically unnecessary war in Iraq. $2 trillion in war that we're still paying for. We've seen the price of a barrel of gasoline go from $24 in October 2002 to $72 when I was running, and then to $147 in the summer of 2008 when this campaign was moving forward. We were left with this mess, and then when President Obama was elected and the Democrats got nearly enough votes in the Senate to get a lot of things done, the Republican Party decided that they were going to play stalling tactics for the next 2 years. And that is exactly what has happened to us. Every piece of even minor legislation that comes to the floor in the Senate has been filibustered. And we have persisted, and we have attempted to bring these issues forward. And now we're seeing a situation where the country is angry, confused, worried. We can't blame them for that. And they're trying to make a decision, a set of decisions that are going to take place next Tuesday. We have to get our people out. But most important, when you look at how the breakdown is of parties today, we've got about a third and a third of the population, and then a third in the middle, which is independent and doesn't really identify with either party. Those are the people you need to be talking to, we need to be talking to over the next week. People have just started to really focus on the election in terms of the people they're thinking about voting for and what the issues are that are truly in play. And we have a very worrisome situation with the way that money has come into these campaigns. The Supreme Court decision that opened up anonymous donation on these ads has overwhelmed the airwaves. You can't hardly turn on TV without seeing ads for people who won't even identify themselves. When I ran in 06, when we were out there trying to do this, I think 3% of the money that went into ads was going from people who the donors of which you could not identify. Today, that's up over half of the ads. That's not the country I want to live in. That's the type of government that the people who are doing these ads want to see. And while the country has gone down in terms of economic future and worry about what your children are going to have and your grandchildren are going to have, in the last 2 years, Wall Street compensation has been the highest 2 years in history. Most people don't know that. We have to tell them. To me, this reminds me a lot of what happened in the American South after the Civil War, where a small veneer of well-off whites manipulated working white against working black in order to stay on top. Where the money that's coming into these campaigns right now is from very, very deep pockets. We have to get our word out the same way. We don't have much time. The same way we got the word out when you helped me to get elected to be your senator. And that's where you got to make the phone calls, talk to the people in the middle, make them understand what the stakes are for our country in the future. And it all boils down to who do you trust? Who do you trust to govern? It's one thing to be out here on these TV shows throwing word bombs at each other. And it's another thing to have to get into the practical day-to-day formation of a government, deciding how to allocate funds, trying to figure out what's fair for your fellow Americans. And this is where the Democratic Party has always been strong. We are the party of working people. We've got to get back to that message in the Democratic Party. And if we do, bravo!